Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii and good morning to you. Today I have a lovely lady in studio. She will introduce herself. We are going to be talking about personal development. And I would like to know from you, our SMS line is 21144. We are also on YouTube at GBS Kenya. Talking about personal development, are you in the place where you really understand who you are? Do you know yourself better to actually say, I have developed myself, I know what I want to do? We're going to hear more of this from our guests today. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Betty. My name is Angela Katua. I am a motivational speaker and a transformational life coach.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Please take us through our discussion today.
Yeah.
We're talking about personal development.
Yeah.
Please explain to us, what is this? What is personal development?
Personal development is a kind of a process where someone takes the time and the initiative to look at themselves deeper.
Okay.
You analyze your skills, you know what you're good at, you learn on how to make them better, you learn about your weaknesses, you learn about the deeper you, and again, how what makes you be here. Why were you brought to this earth?
Okay.
Why are you here? So that is your purpose. So when you start looking at yourself deeper, you start realizing that you have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose, and you develop ways and habits of how to attain and make sure that your purpose is successful, and yeah, you're reliving your life the way God ordained it to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are lost in what God intended them to do, or they're not so sure how they're supposed to live their life here on earth.
Yeah.
So they are just there doing nothing and not knowing precisely what to do with the things that they have received. Angela, do you have a personal story that made you think about doing such kind of a thing?
Well, yes, I do. I used to live my life in, I was this jumpy girl who doesn't want to grow up, you know, and I went through I went through something that really made me lose so much. I had reached a point where I thought I was successful. I would feel that I'm successful, but I would feel that I'm missing something.
Okay.
And that was love. Actually, I was just feeling like I need a man in my life who is going to take care of me,
Did you
who is
have
going
parents?
to give me directions. Yes, I have parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have siblings?
Yes, I have siblings, parents.
You're just missing some kind of love.
Yeah.
Okay.
That intimacy, you know, that everybody craves for. And I used to think that will make me complete. If I have that, I will be complete. So I think it reached a point where I kind of gave in to someone who was available. I would say that, available.
Yes.
So I didn't really look deep into myself, and knowing that, to know whether this person is really the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And I found myself settling for love. That is what I felt it was. And it reached a point where it didn't go so well.
Okay.
So when it went down, I lost, actually it's just the marriage that I had went down with everything, my finances and my work and my business.
So you actually got married?
Yes,
okay.
I did. We call it marriage.
Were you mature enough to get married? Were you in that age of getting married? Or
yes,
you were
I was
too young? Okay.
I was.
Okay.
That time I was calling it marriage, but now I call it cohabitation.
Okay.
Because marriage,
You have grown.
yes, I've grown from that point to now where I know how to define things.
Okay.
I know how to define myself. I know how to define if it is love, I know how to define it.
You no longer define yourself using situations surrounding you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I do not. So after some time, of course, everything went, and the marriage went, and I didn't have money. I was broke. I found myself with 2 children and a suitcase of clothes, just myself, my kids, and a suitcase of clothes, and I didn't know where to start. And I was so lost. I would still believe. I think the faith that I grew up with, it really helped me a lot, because I did not get lost so much. I would get lost in my thoughts, and sometimes,
get back to balance. Okay.
So because of that, sometimes when you believe in God, sometimes it just brings a miracle to you. And my miracle happened, and I met someone who really held my hand, and I went through that person. I went through personal development, which was in a class. It was a class of 10 weeks. I found myself again. No, I can say I found myself, because I don't think I had done it before. Yes.
But
So,
you knew yourself, you knew your name, you knew you had studied, you knew whatever you needed. You assessed, looked at the people around you, and of course they didn't hate you. Your siblings and your parents didn't hate you. But there was still some kind of love that you were craving for. So you knew yourself, in my understanding. You even knew what you needed that you didn't have. And so you went out of your way to look for it, just to find out that, oh, this that I thought was love, it wasn't love. I don't know what it was anyway, you will tell us. But so now this is what happened to you. And you're saying you didn't know yourself. What do you mean you didn't know yourself?
I didn't know myself because I never put so much value into myself.
Okay.
And by value, I mean that you need to know what you deserve.
Okay.
And you need to know, as a child of God, you deserve the best. And you don't just settle for anything just because it is available. So I now came to know myself, knowing that I know, it's called self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yes, I'm aware of who I am now, a child of God. I deserve everything that God can offer. And I know that I don't need someone to define me. I don't need, let's say, for example, a man to come and complete me. I am complete on my own.
But before, you didn't know this. Before, you just lived normal life like any other person, just going for things that were available. Whatever comes your way, you'll take it in. And you'd use the same also to define you. You'd look for happiness from them.
True.
You know?
So
you didn't actually know yourself. So who is it that needs to know themselves? Because so knowing myself is not just knowing my name.
It's
not just knowing that I need love, I don't have it. It's just knowing that I am overweight, I need to cut down some weight. It's just more than that?
It is more than that. It's deeper than knowing just your name, because it's supposed to be what surrounds you, what makes you tick, what makes you want to do the things you do. What you're learning, what you're good at, and knowing how to go about it.
How should I do that? How should I do that?
When you start looking at yourself, you start realizing there are things that you do very easily as a person. I can now, for example, myself, I used to help people a lot. I used to just see people change, see people become better, and
by
I say
talking to them, or by giving them stuff.
By talking to them mostly,
and
even helping them with material. So mine was I used to like just seeing people happy because I have done something, I made a difference, and I would give and give so much, and I think sometimes we may give and deny ourselves, and that is what put me in the situation that I was, in. I loved other people more, and I
so
felt
vulnerable.
And I felt that by loving them more, they will love me in return. So then I will be complete. I didn't know that by loving myself first and deepest, then I will be able to give more.
So
Even-
you were doing the vice versa.
Yes.
You were loving people more,
More.
expecting to receive the same love
Yes.
from them.
Yes.
In reality, what you ought to have done was to first love yourself, build in yourself,
Yes.
develop yourself before you can share
Yes.
what you already filled yourself with.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and by developing yourself, when you start looking deeper into yourself, and of course you have to connect all this with Almighty. There's always a higher power.
Yes, there's another higher source.
Yes. When you connect yourself and with that power, you start having habits. You start having a constitution of your own. Things that you know, I cannot go beyond this. I have to be governed by this. I need to do this. I can't do this. There are things that you can't do. And we are told that the person you are is the person you are when no one is watching.
Yes.
Yes. So these things are not things for people to see. They are people for you. I mean, they're things for you. Yes. And once you start living that way, you start discovering few things. You start learning.
So the things that you discover about yourself, or the things that you do when you're alone,
Yes.
when you find that they're not good things, you know, so you know this is who you are.
Yes.
So what are you supposed to do? How do you now begin this journey? Do you start making changes, like punishing yourself? When I'm alone, I eat too much, you know?
Yeah.
When I'm alone, I sleep too much.
Yeah.
I do this a lot when I'm alone. What do? You write them down and find out how you're going to change them?
Writing them down is good. When we began, I say that you start, when you become self-aware,
Yeah.
you start discovering your weaknesses and your strengths. So when you discover, you even take the initiative to know your strengths.
Okay.
You write them down. You write your weaknesses down. When you do that, it doesn't mean that your weaknesses are things that you should beat yourself down with. These are things that you need to just ignore them, and the ones that you need to work on to improve them, like for example, waking up late. You just know, you are aware that I have a weakness of waking up late.
Okay.
So I need to wake up earlier. I need to do something that will help me wake up earlier. I had the same problem. And now I do not sleep with my phone beside my bed because I know
The alarm.
Yeah, because of the alarm. I leave the phone a little bit from a distance.
I know.
So that when I get up, I
have
will
to
have to go and
stop
switch
the noise.
Yes,
I
yes. So you have to be deliberate with
Yeah.
what you're doing. Now, when it comes to the...
Because if you put the phone just beside you, you could snooze it. You could even stop it.
You will snooze and sleep.
Yes.
Or you'll take the phone and start just checking checking your messages. You start
Yes.
connecting with the outer world, even without
While on
connecting with your
bed.
own self.
I know.
Yeah, and you need to give yourself more importance. So when you wake up, you have to first give yourself more importance.
So you advise that someone needs to have a routine?
You need to have a routine, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the strengths, you write them down, and these are things that you need to leverage on.
Okay.
These are the things that now you have to keep on strengthening. I knew that I was good at talking. I knew that, let me brag a bit, I know I have a good voice.
Yes, you do, Angela.
Thank you. And now, because of my speaking, and because I know people like hearing my voice, I don't want just to be heard from the other end on phone. I want to use my voice to make a difference. So that is what led me to being a motivational speaker.
So you noted down your strengths.
Yes.
And then you found a way of upgrading them.
Yes.
And
yes.
for your weaknesses,
Yeah.
you also note them down and you find a way forward
Yes.
on coming out of them.
Yes.
For example, if it is sleeping late or rather waking up late, then you set your alarm
Yeah.
and have your phone away.
Yes.
Either way, you'll have to get out of bed.
Either way, you have to.
Okay.
Because that noise, you can't stand it in the morning.
And for people who eat too much?
For people who eat too much, they need they need to find a reason why they maybe have to reduce a bit to reduce their eating too much. And even go to healthy eating. You can eat healthy and it's still good. I had a problem with my weight. I used to really not like my body, and I kind of got comfortable with myself, with the way I look, and with my eating, I now stopped a bit with the junks and
Carbs.
yeah, and carbs, eating out. So if I have to carry lunch, I can carry just like a small healthy snack. So I think that it has to be deliberate.
It has to be deliberate.
Everything has to be deliberate. It may not be so easy. It's not easy actually.
Yes, but it's a starting point.
If you have a goal, if you have somewhere that you're focusing on, because personal development gives you focus, and it gives you a kind of determination to want to achieve that goal that you have set, or that thing that you're focusing on, then you will know, you will have to really work towards that and eliminate anything that brings you down, and bring in the things that make you stronger.
Okay, Angela, is personal development only for the people who are not doing well in terms of how they view themselves, or can it be practiced by anyone, or who is it for?
Personal development is a lifelong process.
Okay.
It is not a class that you go to. It is, we start with a class because it is just a base of, you're going to be directed on how to do things. But as life goes on, change will always come, because change is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's constant. It will always happen. You'll find new things that you need to eliminate, new people that have come into your life, and you have to do away with these people because they're not in line with your goal or with what you're focusing on. You'll find even situations, things even as bad as death.
Yeah.
And when you're personally developed, you become a self-leader. So you know that when you're leading, this is a life. It's something that, it's like you start looking at yourself like a company. The way you would look at a company, you don't train your staff and leave it at that. You have to keep on improving them, reminding them yourself. That is why we are told that every morning you wake up, you need to have some kind of meditation, or some kind of hypnosis.
Some quiet time.
Yes, or some things to tell yourself. Don't fear that someone is going to look at you like this person is becoming insane, that they're talking to themselves. I go to the mirror, I tell myself the best things that I would want to hear from anybody.
That day,
yes.
You know.
And
there are people who go for those classes, number one, not to make themselves better, but their main intention is that they can teach other people and probably get income out of it. They want to impact the lives of other people. They're doing it for others, but it's not necessarily changing their lives. So when you say it's a lifelong process, I'm just wondering, is it sustainable? Is this a sustainable life, especially for the people who are taking the studies?
Personal development does not necessarily have to lead you into coaching other people to personal development.
The main
also.
intention is for yourself.
It's for yourself and finding your purpose.
Okay.
We all have different purposes. I believe my purpose is to change lives by using my voice. I believe that there are many other people that have gone through those classes that are doing so many other things. Doctors can do it, lawyers can do it, anybody can do it.
Anybody, it's open to anyone.
The mama mboga can do it.
Okay.
It's a course, it's a thing for everybody. Personal
Why
development
should someone learn about, why should someone step out to develop themselves? Because sometimes you're in a place where you look at yourself, assess yourself, and find that you've actually achieved, you know? Because people think that personal development means you have to educate yourself. So if you are only up to this level of education, then you have to upgrade to a higher level. Is that personal development? Some people also think that developing yourself, then you have to get a better job where you earn more salary? I don't know.
Personal development is more of improving yourself. It doesn't have to be in line with a certain degree. I don't know if you've seen people who are very successful and they've never gone to school.
Yes.
And what guides you? What guides them? Have you ever asked yourself, what different have these people done to get to where they are? And it is all about how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
They are governed by a certain set of rules that maybe they have noted them down. And these rules are the ones that guide someone. Now, when we do personal development, we do it for you to be able to have that kind of set of rules. They don't have to be written down. They can just be one kind of routine that you do every morning.
Yes.
Or that you do, the way you talk to people, the way you connect with your family. It can be just something simple, small, simple things that will lead into one big thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so personal development is not a thing for just getting more money. It is a thing for becoming more successful as a person, more fulfilled with what you're doing. If it is, let's say like Mama Mboga, and she does personal development, and she's self-aware, she becomes this person who knows herself, is emotionally very comfortable with herself, doesn't get upset. You know, like now myself, I hardly get upset. And if something happens to me that changes my mood or really sparks me, I will look very quickly, I will look deeper into myself and say, would I do this kind of a thing? Because sometimes the mind wants to lead you into things that are not in line with what you believe in.
You know, people look at the Mama Mboga, for example, in the village or in our small cities, and they're like, you need to develop yourself. Why are you just doing this? This is too low, you know? You need to upgrade. You need to develop yourself. And their meaning is you need to probably make more money. You need to live in a better estate. You need to have a better job. You need to drive a better car. So people get confused between success and personal development. And the success is tied to financial gain. You know? So this kind of people, I am so sure the people who are watching us today, Angela, and they're like, I have tried these things you guys are talking about. I have tried to develop myself. I have tried going to school. I have even made it. You know, I have gone to school. So there's that someone who has gone to school and they are still not able to find that which they can do. They actually live miserable lives as though they never saw the gate of a school. There's also the person who has not been to school, and the idea is to develop myself first. I must have, you know, this and that degree. I must probably be living in such and such an estate. How do I develop myself when I live in Dandora? How do I develop myself when I live in Eastlands? You know, so people have the notion of to develop yourself, or rather personal development, is taking myself to the high-end estate. It's taking myself to the high-market businesses, you know? That is the definition of personal development. I don't know if that is the case.
That is not the case.
Okay.
Personal development doesn't necessarily have to take you up there. It is going to take you up there in yourself, in how good you feel about yourself. Sometimes, and many
times, it is you
times,
coming to terms with yourself.
Yes.
And your situation.
And not letting people define you. But
your surrounding.
You define yourself. Not letting your past define you, but you define yourself. And like I said, when you have, when you're self-aware, when you're personally developed, you have, there's a way that you know how to do things, and when in the right way, and when you're doing things in the right way, things keep on improving. If it is Mama Mboga, for example, and she's emotionally aware of herself, she doesn't need to get upset over small things. Then people will want to buy from this person who is always smiling, who doesn't get agitated over small things, who has a smile for every customer, who speaks so good and so rich, you know. People will just want to even hang around her.
Yeah.
She will get more customers. And obviously her business will grow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not for you to just jump up there, but obviously things will change, because you will learn a way of doing things in the right way. If it is, you will be very keen and very deliberate with what you're doing. I had a problem with forgiveness, and forgiveness, it was just a big thing for me. And
because you were hurt previously?
Yes, I was hurt. I was holding into this anger, and every time this person would speak to me, and I would just feel maybe agitated, and I would even respond in a bad way.
You'd want to kill them if you can.
Yes,
you know.
and still I've already done my personal development class, but yes,
but you have not let it go.
But I've not let the forgiveness go. But I knew as if I want to go to where I want, to the place that I've defined myself, and of course maybe God has ordained me to go, I have to let go of this anger. I have to I have to forgive this person for myself. So I really tried to research. I would read books. I would read the Bible, but somehow I wasn't really getting it. I would even go far to visit someone and ask them, how can I go through this? How can I go about this? Because I have seen you deal with a certain situation, and you've come out of it, and you're strong, and it doesn't seem to affect you. Until one day I just met someone who, a friend of mine, who is, I think she's very good with the Bible.
Yeah.
And she told me, you know, forgiveness is for yourself. And even from the Lord's Prayer, you forgive, we are told that forgive us, we say that we forgive our sins as we forgive others. So just that. And she told me, can you imagine if you don't forgive, you're not forgiven? Why does it come after? Why does God say that he will forgive us after we forgive others?
Just listening to your story, Angela,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the viewer who is actually asking themselves the same questions, like, I have tried this, I have tried this, and it couldn't work. I thought that personal development, I need to have a degree. Okay, I already have that, but I'm not where I want to be. I have not gotten to the place I have been aspiring to get to.
Yeah.
How did you, Angela, practically get out of what you probably thought was a mess in your life? Like, you desired love, you got into love, and you got children, and now after some time you have lost basically everything, and you have to start again. At that time, your self-esteem is too low.
Yes.
You have lost yourself. How did you pick up yourself and grow up yourself and develop to the person you are today?
It started by being self-aware, and
Did someone bring that your way?
Yes.
Okay.
Someone
or you
took
used
me
to sleep.
through.
You know, when you're stressed, sometimes you can sleep,
Yeah.
even until 11.
Yeah, that
You've
was
not
me.
even had breakfast. Is that the kind of life that you live?
Yes,
Yes,
I
tell
would.
us
I
a
was
bit
this
about
person
that.
who was. If you ask me what time do you wake up, I say anytime. I would say anytime that maybe sleep goes. So I would sleep.
You shower also anytime because
yes.
you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I would even wake up, sometimes maybe have breakfast, and I go back to bed. And I didn't know that I was really stressed until I went through personal development, and something would just ring into my mind, and I say, aha, yeah, really, I was in a bad place. And coming out of it was not easy. I really had to be deliberate with it. I knew I was in a bad place. I knew I needed to, there's a better place for me. And I knew that God, after doing my classes, I knew that God has ordained me for bigger things.
But now,
And-
before you went through your classes, you've gone through this heartache.
Yes.
You don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah.
You really feel beaten and cheated.
Yes.
And you're so angry, not only with life, but also with yourself for putting yourself in this mess. And you don't know how to come out.
Yeah.
You know? So what you're doing is sleeping and waking up anytime, taking breakfast and going back to bed. What else were you doing, and how long did you do that?
I would.
Because someone is probably thinking, what is wrong with waking up and taking breakfast and going back to bed? I am not employed. Where am I going?
And we call it managing my time.
Yes.
But it's not
until I
really
get
managing.
a job, allow me to take breakfast and go back to bed.
Yeah.
Yes. So what else were you doing? How long were you in that space?
I would get small jobs here and there. I would go and do that one, I finish. I go and do another one, I finish. I eat the money, it's finished. I used to crave for company so much that if you call me and I'm just around, or of course most of the times I was idle, I would just run for that.
So any phone calls, where are you? Come, let's hang out.
Yeah.
You just go.
Angela
because you
is
have
there.
nothing to do.
I've not even planned for my
Yeah.
days. So I would even let go of things that I'm supposed to be doing that are important to me, and I would go for that company.
And just hang out with buddies.
Yes. And I knew, it reached a point where every day I would look back, and I don't know, maybe I had this habit of analyzing my day at the end of the day, and I would analyze.
You did that?
Yeah.
That was a good practice.
Yeah. I would analyze my day, and in the evening I feel so demoralized because I've done nothing of importance to me.
Yeah.
And after now this class, I managed to now put things in order, and I would plan my days and know that I have meetings this day, I have a meeting this time.
Yeah, so that's how you got out of it?
Yeah. And
by beginning to plan.
Yeah, I have to keep a diary. It is very important. Actually, when you do this self-awareness,
Yes.
you will realize that a diary is very important.
What do you write in a diary? Today I am going to do this, tomorrow I'm going to do this. But you
Yes.
have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So if you're going to wash dishes, that's all?
It has to
How
be.
many hours does it take you? If you're going to visit a children's home,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
if you're going to the stores to
Yeah.
buy something, you would go and come back and then the day is over. What do you
No.
write in a diary?
You note down the most important things, and mostly things that are in line with your purpose, with what you're doing, with your work. So I would note down the meetings that I will be attending. I would note down who to call. I would leave time even for myself. Every day I have time for myself, a minimum of 1 hour. So I would make sure that every day I have written down the things that I've planned to do, and I make sure that every day my day is full.
Okay. I want us to take a short break, viewer. Angela is our guest today, taking us through personal development. When we come back, we are going to find out how did Angela come out of her mess. See you shortly.
And this is G Radio.
Hello guys and welcome. This is G Radio, #1 TV show, and we're coming live at GBS TV. And I'm your host, Isaac Tabitha.
I'm the co-host Evan Tinyari. As usual, we have our DJ Deko. You can also send your views on my Instagram page and Tinyari_Eva.
And also you can get me on our Facebook page as Isaac Tabitha. Thank you so much, guys.
Keep it here.
We're going to be in the kitchen learning how to do a few tricks. you to get the chance to cook this in your homes because it's very quick, it's very healthy, and it's very delicious. It's so nice. I love it.
I know.
People have dominance over themselves. Why? Daddy, no money. Give me money, I'll buy for you. Daddy, I say I don't have money. Hey, I know, Daddy.
Can the Ethiopian change his skin? Or the leopard its spots?
예수님이 우리의 모든 죄값을 다 지불하시기 때문에 예수님 다 이루었다라고 말씀하셨잖아요.
So Jesus paid for all the wages of our sin. That's why he could say it is finished.
Yesu alipa mshahara wa dhambi deni zetu lote, ndiposa akasema kwamba imekwisha.
하나님은 슈퍼컴퓨터와 같은 분이에요.
Everyone, God is like the supercomputer.
Upendo wa Mungu ni kama hii supercomputer.
Kulipa is now easy with EasyPay. When you shop at your local supermarket, fuel your car, dine out, book a flight, make other payments or pay your bills, you want simplicity, security and convenience. It's accepted everywhere you see the EasyPay sign. And it works with other mobile networks too. What's more, you can withdraw your cash at the supermarket till where you see the cashback logo. Get your Equitel line or download the Easy Banking app today because Kulipa is now easy with EasyPay.
Towards the end of 1994, Money magazine published a story about the sharp rise in consumers shopping from home.
That same year, 60 million consumers made $98 billion worth of purchase from home.
And nearly all of it through phone orders prompted by mail catalogs and TV shopping channels.
We as the GBS TV
Home Shopping Fraternity, we adhere to this.
Home decor,
fashion,
foodstuff,
and books.
What you see is what you get.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer. Thank you for watching us. Our SMS line is 21144. Before we went on a break, we were going to find out how did Angela come out of the mess she was inside of. I wanted to listen keenly because your situation could be similar to hers. She's going to handle also how you can actually get out of where you are and start a new journey. Angela. This is where we are.
Yeah.
How did you get out of that situation?
I started by forgiving myself.
Okay.
And I forgave myself because I knew that I was watching Oprah Winfrey another time. And she used to say that people can treat us the way we allow them to treat us.
Okay.
So I knew it was my fault. I had to take fault in it because if I didn't, I knew that I would just continue blaming others and not myself. So,
and this is a mistake that people do a lot. For all their failures, for all their things that didn't work out, they all tag it on people. All they have done, it's because they did. It's because of that man.
Yeah.
It's because of the children.
We have to take responsibility of our lives.
Okay.
And we can only be with a bad person if we allowed a bad person to come into our lives.
They cannot force themselves into us.
Yeah, yeah. We can't blame others. We can't blame the government for a bad life that we are living. You can't blame the government for being broke every day. There's something you're not doing right.
You can't even blame your spouse for not being happy.
Yes. And happiness is yours. It's for you to find it on your own. It's not for the other person to
give it
to bring
to
it to you. Yeah.
Angela, I know that there's someone watching who is in this situation where they need to find themselves. Money is not their problem. They probably have it. They don't know what they can venture into and make themselves happy and make themselves fulfilled, make themselves satisfied, and pick up themselves to do something. You know, money is not their issue. But the other person who does not have an idea, a clueless person completely.
Yeah.
For me, I am here. I have no idea what I need to do. I am just here. If you only tell me today, this is the way, I will begin waking up at 5 a.m. and I will go. But for now, I am sleeping up to late, waking up, taking breakfast and going back to bed. Because what do I do, Angela? You know, what am I supposed to do with myself? I don't know. I didn't find my purpose yet. I am just here doing nothing. How do I start from now henceforth?
Many times we kind of, we don't use our minds, and our minds are so enormous. We can come up with so many ideas, because many times you see someone comes up with an idea.
Yes.
And they just start doing something and it flourishes. And then you start asking yourself, where did you get this idea from? It is the mind. The mind has, you have to be deliberate
so we are not
with your
engaging
thinking.
our minds.
Yes. Think, read, ask questions, have mentors, have people who are at a place that you want to be, who are guiding you.
Don't just sit and wait that someone will come and, you know, put up this thing for you to make a living from or earn some money. Be the one who does something. And so you put your mind into thinking.
You have to know that you're the only person who can rescue you.
Okay.
Other people can help you with a few things here and there. But at the end of the day, you are your own rescue. So unless you know that nobody is coming to rescue you until you rescue yourself first. There are so many things we can do. We have to start asking ourselves, what is the one thing that I can do to get an extra 100 shillings a day?
Okay.
To get an extra 200 shillings a day, to get an extra 1,000. Because it has to start somewhere. If you are operating at a zero income, that is not where you belong.
Okay.
Nobody is here for nothing. You
It's
have to
true.
be, and you have to be of help to
So
yourself.
that means there are benefits of developing myself.
Yes.
What are some of those?
These benefits are like things like being self-aware.
Okay.
When you're aware of who you are, now you will not leave yourself into that place and start asking questions. How will I get out of this? You will get up. You will get out of the house. Do something. Talk to people. There's power in connection. We are created to connect. You never know who you are, because God cannot use the walls to bring you help. God will obviously use other people. So you have to connect with other people. You have to see the person you admire.
Yes.
Be bold enough to
And
go and talk
connect
to
to
that
them.
person. And somehow, slowly by slowly, you will find yourself moving from point A to point B. I have seen people hold my hand because I have shared my dream with them. Just that. And they are not helping me for any gain from me. They're helping me because they know, they can see I have something to offer to the society. And probably that is their purpose.
Yeah.
So people are out there waiting for you to get out of there, get out of your small cocoon.
World, yes.
Yeah, and approach them.
Another benefit?
Another benefit
that would make me want to get into developing myself?
Yes, you will have focus.
Okay.
You will have focus. You will have a defined goal, a defined big dream, and you will have small dreams that, small goals that you have to reach every day.
Okay.
And that is why I'm talking of the diary or a journal. You write down the things that you're going to do. These things are the ones that are going to help you to reach to your bigger goal. You can never reach your bigger goal without planning, without stepping from point A to be to see like that. It has to start from
somewhere,
one step, and this one step is the plannings of the day. So you kind of have that focus that I know I will go there.
There's a mom at home who probably has a house help or doesn't. And they also need to develop themselves because as it is now, the life is the life without timing. You know, the one who showers whenever and wakes up whenever. Because they have someone who gives help at home. Somehow they're able to find out means of paying for that. But they don't have a program at all. And some of them don't even have a menu. When they realize it's 6, that's when they're looking for, wow, what are we having for dinner today? So they don't know. They live in a world of their own. They're neither in the corporate world. They are neither in, I don't know, I don't find them really when I try to look for, I couldn't group them very well because they are stay-at-home moms who do certain things for their families. But there are those that do not know precisely anything.
They wait for the husband to bring something home.
About their lives, and they have to wait to receive all things. How can these women develop themselves personally? Because some of them don't even have the higher education they wanted. They missed a lot of chances in life. When they look at themselves now, they cannot go back to school. They look at themselves and judge that they cannot do anything meaningful. What did you say to such kind of women?
I would say that they need to see a bigger picture in their own life. Because you cannot just be here and you're waiting for someone to keep on doing things for you. Get yourself out there. They have to know that life can only be fulfilling if you are of help to yourself and somebody else. Not because somebody is giving you something. Not because you have a rich husband who brings money to you. That is not fulfillment.
That is not fulfillment.
That is someone
so
just...
they need to get out. And do what? Start a business.
They can start a business. They can volunteer places. They can get work. There's so much that we can do. They can volunteer even in the church, in organization. And that is how now God starts bringing in things to you, ideas to you. You connect with, that is why I was talking of connection. You never know why God sends people to you. And you never know why you've connected. Like, for example, the person who coached me on personal development is someone I had met many years ago, about 20 years ago, in the construction field. We were just client, and he was my client. So we never knew that in future we would even have a deeper thing that would come up, a God-ordained meaning that would even bring and come, and he would even be the person to rescue me from all this. So when we met now later, because we had lost touch for some time, when we met much later, then this came up, and I was like, you mean God had just kept this guy
for this
time,
for this purpose?
Now structuring, when I look at my life, of course he has touched so many other people, but when I look at myself personally, we have to know that this bigger God, this bigger power doesn't do things by chance. He's deliberate.
Angela, how do you now define yourself, considering your past, you know? How do you define yourself, and where did you get the boldness to now stand before people and tell them this and this about their lives, that they need to come out of this ditch and come out to this bright light, you know? Because looking at your life, you got out of that marriage, you know, hurt and not wanting life, you know, so bitter and angry. And now the expectation of many is that you'll be down there, Angela, the single mom, the one who didn't make it, the one who failed, Angela who, you know, all these bad and negative words
Yeah.
tagged to you. All these were your titles sometime.
Yeah.
Are you still identified by such?
I do not identify myself as a single mom. I identify myself as a woman who is out to touch lives. And that is what purpose does to you. You start seeing you start seeing yourself as someone who is here for a reason. And that reason has to be beyond you. And all these things that I've passed through, I mean, the mistakes that I've done, the things that I've been through, the brokenness, the being heartbroken, losing my things, my properties, being a mother of 2 children, these things do not define me.
They no longer define you.
They no longer define me. Being a mother of 2 children, I embrace with all power, because these children are the ones that make me get up every morning. They even help me to create my bigger goal. So there is a reason why I was given this responsibility.
Yes.
And this responsibility is not just it's not, you know, we sometimes we think that troubles or problems are here to trouble us, but they are here to shape us,
to train us.
Yes, they are here. Actually, every morning I look back, every evening I look back at the day and I see the difficulties that I've gone through that day, and I say thank you, God, for this difficulty, because I know there's a reason. There's a reason for this, and tomorrow I'll be talking about the lesson that I've done, that I've learned, and what I've achieved from just learning that lesson.
The people who are down today because of their current circumstances, or because of things they have gone through in the near or very far past, that were tagged to them, like they were raped, they were single moms, you know, like they failed in the exams, they failed in the things, their marriages were broken, their relationships failed, they lost their jobs, and so they are not lifting up their heads anymore.
Yeah.
They're just stuck in the places where they are. They don't know how to pick up themselves and move on. Even though we are in March, they are still in November last year. They have not come out of that place. And so they have missed a lot. You know, they have missed everything that happened in this month. They don't have the strength to come out and pick up all those broken pieces, put them together and move on. Do they need to do this? Does someone need to do this for them?
They need to do it themselves. Even when it comes to the worst situations, things like rape or sodomy, or you still have to somehow, yes, of course, things are very deep and very painful, but you still are responsible for yourself. And there is still a reason.
And when you don't get out there, people don't even know you. You
never know why God is writing this story, because everybody has a story to tell. You don't know why God is writing or is allowing for this story to be written. There's one woman who was raped, and she had her daughter grew up to a big woman, and she was married. She was doing so well. And one day she was being interviewed, and she was asked, how do you feel when you look at your daughter and when you think of that man who raped you? And she said, I actually feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him because he has a daughter and a granddaughter who are doing so well, beautiful souls, and he knows nothing about it. I just feel sorry for him. So even you have to look at the brighter side of life. We have to look at, like my case, I have to look at the brighter side of life. I have these beautiful children.
So people must change their focus.
Yes.
Which side
Let's
of the coin
stop
are you
focusing
going
on
to
the
look
negative,
at?
so on the heart, on the pain, because there's nothing we are going to get from there except misery. And when you're miserable, you will never move. Now let us start looking at life from the positive side, the bigger side. and say if it is a child, if I'm a single mother, I'm struggling, I'm fighting with the father, look at it like I have this gift of a child who is so adorable. He is the one who made me a mother, to be called a mother, something so big. It's the biggest, I believe it's
Something
the biggest degree on earth, something you can't buy.
Yeah, so Angela, we are out of time. Thank you, Angela, for coming to share with us your story. Thank you also for teaching us about personal development. And I would like you to speak just to someone watching and tell them what your parting shot is about this.
My parting shot is whatever you're going through, don't let it define you. Define yourself, and don't let anyone define you. Define yourself with where you're going, because we have to create big goals. We have to create a brighter side of life. We have to start looking at life from the brighter side. So I would encourage anyone, whether you can afford a personal development class or not, just start by having a positive mind. Whatever you're going through, look at it and see what it is teaching you. Make sure you get the lesson, because if you do not get the lesson, then you are losing it. You will just have lost everything. And sometimes we only have the lesson, and this lesson is our stepping stone. So make sure that you carry that with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Viewer, you got it from the expert. Define yourself with where you are going, not your past, not where you have been, not your current situations, but by where you are going. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Betty Akuku. I have been your host. See you next time.